But the snow just keeps coming down. It is thick, it's piling up, and there's no sign of it stopping yet. We're on hell's backbone and it looks like we're snowed in. Is this what they mean when they say when hell freezes over? There are some steep switchbacks down below that I'm not really excited to be on if they're covered in ice. So we'll see if we've gotten ourselves into a sketchy situation here. Good morning, Escalante. We're starting out today a little different. We're here in town and we're gonna get Kathy some coffee. I don't drink coffee, she's getting some coffee. And then we gotta go get some water and then we're headed off on a new trail. Good morning. Love these bandanas. Yeah. Well, there it is. Got me a little cinnamon roll. Kathy's waiting for a coffee in there. And we're off to a pretty good start this morning.
All right, ready to bring on the day.
All right, we're here at the Escalante Visitor Center. This is a National Forest Service / BLM Visitor Center. It is a great place to go in there and get information. The people that work here, especially there's a woman here named Jean, and she was awesome and knows this area really well and has given us a lot of good information. But the nice thing here is they do have water. Now there's one caveat to the water here is they don't want huge RVs coming in and hooking up hoses and filling up, 200 gallons of water. It's for containers only. So the only way I found to work around that, where I fill up our 20-gallon reservoir in the van, is to use an aquatainer, which I carry one anyway for when we're in places and I can't hook up the hose. So it just works perfect here as well. So I'm gonna walk you through the process of how you get water into a Revel van without using your hose. Okay, the first step is a short little hose that I cut the end off. Normally it had a little screw fitting on here. I cut that off just so that it can go into different containers. Now my aquatainer has a big opening, but when you're down in Mexico and you're using these garrafones, they call them, it's like a big water jug with a skinny little end on it. You had to cut this part off so that it would fit into the bottle. And I find this works great, but this is just a 4-foot hose. The next thing I need is, so I'm gonna go ahead and attach this to the quick release fitting here. Just snaps right on. And then the next step is I gotta pull out my aquatainer out of my very, very eroding bag here. Oh my gosh, I can see my finger through it. No. Overland Expo West, I think, is gonna, hopefully I'm gonna find a better rear tire trash bag because this Trasharoo is shot. I'm just tired of buying new ones. These things only last about a year and they just fall apart. The sun chews them up. But it is the place where I keep this aquatainer. Now this aquatainer's been through the ringers. This was on our Grand Canyon trip with us. And my buddy Tom Martin was gonna throw it away because it got a hole here in the corner. And I was like, Tom, are you getting rid of that? And he's like, yeah, it's served its purpose and it's leaking. And I was like, well, this could be perfect for what I need in the van. He's like, well, go ahead, take it, it's yours. So I've been hauling it empty. It rides great in the Trasharoo and it's perfect for times just like this. So let me show you how we use it. All right, so we can't hook our hose directly up, but I can fill a container. So I'm gonna fill this up. This container holds 7 gallons. And that's probably all we need is, 5 or 6 gallons to top off the van. So we've been pretty good about filling it every day, every other day. And so it doesn't get that low, which is really nice. But the one drag is I got to stand here and hold this 7 gallons until it gets to the top. It gets kind of heavy here towards the end. Almost full. This is really good water right here at the Escalante Visitor Center. All right. Now I'm just going to put this lid on temporarily, just so I don't slosh it all over myself carrying it over here. Okay, that thing is heavy. This is 7 gallons. So now I've got my hose. I've got the aquatainer open. I just stick the end in there. And then I can flip these two switches on the control panel, and this uses the water pump in the van to suck water out of really anything. I mean, we could pull this out of a stream, a lake, a water container, and then it just pumps it straight into the holding tank in there. The only drag is I got to stand here and hold it, but this has gotten a lot easier now with this Agile off-road rear step. It makes a perfect little ledge just to rest it on. So here in just about a minute, I'm gonna have all this pumped in, and I'll put the empty aquatainer back here and we'll be ready to go. Okay, so we filled up. Unfortunately, the way this van tells you how it's full is it overflows a little bit. I always hate that because I feel like I'm wasting water, but it'll dribble for just a minute and then it quits. I've still got half of my jug full, so we didn't even need that much. We only used about 3 gallons. I'm gonna now stick the aquatainer in the back of the van so we have it for tonight or tomorrow morning and we can top off again. Okay, so last thing is we need to get rid of some of our trash here. I've been picking this stuff off the trail, little wrappers, a couple of cans, and we've got some more in the van. They've got trash cans here and we're gonna dispose of this properly. That works good. Also here at the visitor center, there's great bathrooms here if you guys need them. This visitor center is on the west side of Escalante. So we've thrown away our trash, we've gotten water. Let's head up onto our next objective. Well, here we are at the start of Hell's Backbone. This is gonna be today's route. Surprisingly enough, I've never done the Hell's Backbone. Hell's Backbone is a driving route that starts in Escalante, Utah, and it goes over to Boulder, Utah. But it doesn't take Highway 12. It goes up through the mountains and around and takes kind of the scenic back way. And so we're gonna go up there and check it out. Well, look at this. We were going up the Devil's Backbone and we see a sign that says Posey Lake. And I'd seen Posey Lake on the maps before, but I was like, yeah, let's go check out Posey Lake. And that's kind of the way we are with all of our travels is we're gonna go on a general route like the Pan American Highway, but we aren't gonna force ourselves to be stuck on that route. If there's something really cool that's right nearby, we're gonna take a diversion and go check it out. And I gotta tell you, I'm really glad we took this diversion because this is cool. This is Posey Lake, and as you can see, it is snowing. We were just in the canyon country. It was warm and dry, and now we're up here in the aspens and the pines at this beautiful lake, and it's snowing on us. This part of Utah is just really incredible, you know? I've got on my puffy jacket. I feel like I'm in the mountains of Colorado at this beautiful lake. I feel like this is a wonderfully kept secret that I didn't know about, and it is so cool being up here. Wow, if it was clear and sunny, I could see going for a swim right here, right now. But I've got my puffy on and it's snowing, so I'm maybe gonna bow out on the swim for now. But I think this is gonna be a great place to come on a hot day when it's hot in the desert. You can drive up here, get a little bit of mountains, greenery, pine trees, aspen trees, and go for a swim in this beautiful lake. I want to take a break right now and show you guys something new and exciting. We now have Famagogo merch. Check it out. We have this awesome design. Kathy designed this. This is based off of a photograph from the highlight of my highest point of our whole Pan American trip, where we're underneath Cerro Torre, and we'd just gotten these incredible views of Patagonia. Now this is available in a hoodie or a woman's hoodie here. Here's one of Kathy's. Has a hood. It also can be printed on t-shirts, sun shirts, all kinds of things. And here's one of our other designs that we've had on the store for a little while. You can check out this design and more on the Famagogo merch store. Link is right here and in the description below. Well, we're driving through and we see a sign that said Blue Spruce Campground. So, of course, we pulled in. We want to check it out. It's kind of early in the day for us to be looking for a place to camp, but I always like coming in these places just to see what they're like for next time. And this is a beautiful campground up here in the trees. We just came from the heart of the desert, it felt like, and we drove 30 minutes and we're up here in these forests that are just beautiful. There's a clean, clear creek running right through here, and this would be a great place to be, especially if it's warm. This is really nice. It's got some places where it's stopped up. It looks like a beaver dam, but I don't think it's actually from beavers. And I am seeing little trout swimming all around in this crystal clear, cool water. Pretty neat to see. These are nice campsites. They got nice picnic tables, a fire ring, and bear boxes. Kind of interesting seeing bear boxes in the desert, or what I think of as the desert, but really we're up here in the mountains, so I guess it totally makes sense. It says on the sign over here, this campground's $10 a night, $5 for an extra vehicle. So if you're up this way, this would be a nice place to spend a night or two. Well, we've made it. Hell's Backbone. What a drive this is. I kept thinking, this has got to be it. This is really spectacular. And then it just kept getting better and better and better. Now we have had some crazy snowfall, winter weather. It's cold right now. You can see I have my puppy on. Just a week and a half ago, it was 106 degrees as we went across Death Valley. So this is by no means am I doing this in the winter. This is full on spring. It's been 80 degrees down in Escalante, even 90 before that. And I'm up here and it's cold and snowing. But you know what? That's the way we like it. We love a surprise. We love it when weather changes and does something that we didn't expect. And being that we live full time in our Revel van, we are prepared for it. We got all of our winter gear, so it's really no big deal. And honestly, it's kind of a nice little change. So let's do it. Let's walk down here towards the bridge. And I think there's a little placard there, and maybe we can learn a little history too. Hell's Backbone Bridge, aptly named by Henry Baker of Boulder, Utah. It spans this precarious backbone of rock that separates the head of Death Hollow drainage to the west and Sand Creek to the east. It was built in 1933 by the Civilian Conservation Corps to shorten the trip between Boulder and Escalante during the summer months. With typical Yankee ingenuity, the CCC felled 2 tall, straight pines. After leveling them off topside, they placed them across this backbone of rock and secured them in place. When the bulldozer and compressor were needed on the south side of the chasm, a local man, Laurel 60 McLinley agreed to drive the bulldozer, pulling the compressor across the backbone on the 2 pine logs. With a safety rope tied around his midsection, 60 slowly inched the dozer out onto the logs and across the backbone, while onlookers held their breath and silently prayed. Well, what a story of this old bridge. So the original bridge was used until about the 1960s. At that point, it was replaced, and then it was replaced again in 2005 with the bridge that we have today. Now, if you look down under the modern bridge, you'll see the old timbers down there that used to be the original bridge, or at least a portion of them. And it's pretty wild to think that that was how people were driving their vehicles across this chasm. And today, the bridge is made out of steel and concrete, and it's not quite the adventure it used to be, but this still is amazing access to one of the most beautiful places in Utah that I've seen so far. Now, we've just driven up to the bridge from Escalante, and so far this drive is something that anyone could do in any sort of car or motorcycle. The road is graded, it's very well maintained. There are a couple of places where the road has gotten a little rutted, and I think it's from people coming up here right after a big rain or the snow's melting. So probably in the heart of winter or after a big precipitation event, you would want to maybe give this a few days to dry out at least. But today we're up here, it's been lightly snowing all day long. It's not really sticking to the ground, but a couple of times it was coming down pretty thick, and the ground and everything is dry right now. So I would recommend you all to come out here, explore these canyons, camp up on these mountains, and check it out for yourself because it is awesome. Kathy says it's too cold to be out here, so I'm on my own for this one. And it is kind of chilly. It's snowing, and the snow is actually blowing up the canyon over the bridge and dropping down on the other side. It's pretty spectacular right now. I would have never have guessed that I would be up here and it would be snowing right now. So now we got to figure out where we want to camp tonight. There's a lot of great camping up here all along this whole route. We've seen great dispersed camping, and I'm kind of considering seeing what Kathy thinks about staying right here, right in this little pullout on the edge of the bridge, where we are surrounded by these 360 views. Kathy said that she was fine with us camping in this crazy little spot. Normally I wouldn't stay in a spot like this, but we have only seen one car all day long, and it was way down low on the other side. I don't even think they came up here. We have felt like we're the only people up here. It has been snowing all day. It's gonna be in the 20s tonight. Know that you don't have to stay right here if you do this trip. There is plentiful dispersed camping in beautiful spots all along this Hell's Backbone Road. But the photographer in me wants to be right up here on the edge of the canyon so I can photograph if the conditions change. Look at this snow coming down. Can you believe this? Just proves you'll never know what you're gonna get when you come on a trip to Utah. But it's always gonna be a good time. Look at this snow coming down. This is spring in the desert, and it's snowing. Good morning, Hell's Backbone. Oh my gosh, look what happened overnight. Have you ever heard the term, when hell freezes over? I think that's what just happened. I noticed last night my Starlink started acting up, and I thought that was kind of strange, but it was late. I just went to sleep, didn't worry about it. I think what happened was it was covered in snow and it was blocking the signal. So I think it has been snowing virtually all night long. As you guys saw, there was nothing on the ground last night, but what a cool morning this is. Here's the road. You can see it's snow covered. Look at the railings on the bridge. Here's the Hell's Backbone Bridge covered in a blanket of snow. And as we look off here, the snow is coming down really hard, but it's covered up all the rocks, and the canyon below is pretty obscured with clouds and snowfall. And then here on the other side, it's kind of the same thing. I know it drops a long ways down there, but you couldn't tell right now because we're up in the clouds. Well, I'm up on the roof now. Look at my kayaks. They are covered in snow. And this right here is my Starlink, and this is why it is not working. It is covered in snow. I normally don't use the snow melt feature just because it burns a lot of extra battery. But I guess I should have last night. I'm gonna dust it off my hand, see if it starts working. But pretty wild. Look at my Max Tracks. They're covered good. Wow, we got a little taste of winter last night. Well, right here is the road going down from where we are right now. There are some steep switchbacks down below that I'm not really excited to be on if they're covered in ice. So we'll see if we've gotten ourselves into a sketchy situation here. The good news is we do have plenty of fuel to run our heater, and we've got a decent amount of food, so we could sit up here for a day or two if we needed to. But the snow just keeps coming down. It is thick, it's piling up. I would estimate it's at least 5-6 inches of snow on the ground right now, and there's no sign of it stopping yet. Now, we lived in Colorado for 20 years, so we're very familiar with driving in winter, snowy conditions. And our van has great tires. We have the BFG KO3s, which are really good in the snow and ice. And our van has four-wheel drive. But four-wheel drive doesn't help you when you're going downhill. It's all about traction in the tires and what the surface on the road is. So we'll see how this plays out. We're just gonna sit up here for a while, enjoy being up here because it is beautiful. But I hope when the time comes, we're able to drive down safely. All right, I can't worry about that now. We just gotta enjoy being up here and see what the weather brings. If the sun comes out, it could change everything up here very quickly. Well, it's pretty cold. I think I'm gonna go back in, fire up our diesel heater in the Revel, wait for the sun to come up and hopefully warm things up a little bit. Well, it's almost noon now. We've been just kind of hunkered down in the van, watching it snow. It's been really cold this morning. It feels like now the sun is starting to kind of break through some of these clouds. So let's go out here on the bridge and get a look and see what's going on. Yeah, it looks like the clouds are dissipating and we can see some of the views down into the canyon. And there is a lot of snow here now. This has been a really cool treat, getting a last little blast of winter. The snow is definitely settling in. I can see it's melting here off the guardrails of the bridge. It was about 5 inches thick this morning right there. The road is quickly melting out and a car just came through. So maybe here in a minute, it's time to think about us driving down. But we are certainly going to take our time because we have a couple of really steep switchbacks going down. And if they're icy, that could be a big problem. All right, let's go. Let's see if we can make it down to Boulder, Utah without any incident. And that is the end of Hell's Backbone. Let's go see what the road's like. All right, the road is covered in about 3-4 inches of snow in some places. Underneath the snow is a layer of mud. And in some places, the snow is gone and it's just the mud. but the mud is that really slimy, slippery type of mud. I think the mud is making the road slick feeling more than the snow. So we're taking our time, we're going down the steeper switchbacks here, and hopefully we're gonna drop down here in a minute and get down below the snow line where the roads might be a little damp, but we'll at least have the snow out of the equation. But we are sliding around here a little bit. I'm going really nice and slow, trying to keep it in first or second gear. I'm in four-wheel drive and keep it just really slow and controlled. And hopefully it's gonna get better here in a minute. Okay, boy, we are creeping here. This all of a sudden went from being kind of slick to like Vaseline grease slick. Came around a corner and we got a little sideways, started sliding. I was able to correct it and keep it out of the ditch. But this is that kind of very slimy clay type mud here. The county or whoever does maintenance has put gravel over the top of it, but in certain places it's worn through, and those places will surprise you at how slick it gets all of a sudden. I'm feeling my back end just moving back and forth around us as we're just going down here with no acceleration. So I put the van in four-wheel low, and you know, you think four-wheel drive helps you go up things, not really down things. But in this instance, I think it's gonna help just give me a little more torque to control my speed and to go nice and slow here. You can see these skid marks. Some cars had come up here before us, and it looks like they are sliding around too. But I think with our extra weight, it's making it even a little more treacherous for us. So anyway, we're gonna creep down the mountain here, probably about 3-4 miles an hour, and just try to keep it nice and controlled, and hopefully stay out of the ditch. So you know, the thing that's different about being in a van like this is, one, it's heavier, it pushes a little harder going down the hills than say like a pickup truck or an SUV would. But the other thing is, when this is your full-time house and your vehicle, it's a big deal if something happens to it. You know, if this thing, if we ended up in the ditch and we damaged something in a way that it needed to be in the shop for a long time, or God forbid we totaled it or something, we wouldn't have a place to live. You know, it would be a major inconvenience into everything we do. So when I get in these situations, you know, I'm okay usually driving off-road because it's a little more controlled in some ways than on this slippery mud and ice. But when I get in these situations, I like to just go really nice and slow, take my time to make it as safe as possible. So that's what we're doing now. We're just gonna take our time and ease down the mountain. This is slippery. If at one point it feels like it's getting a little more than I want, the nice thing too is we can find a place to pull over, and we've got everything we need right here. And we can just sit and wait it out until the roads get better. That's kind of what's running through my mind when I get into driving in inclement weather and sketchy situations. Now we're going to Boulder, Utah. right, we made it to Boulder, Utah. It's another cool little town. I'm at the little mercantile here right outside of town. It's a place I always like to stop. They've got good food. They sometimes have showers in there for a reasonable price, and they obviously have diesel. But I want to reflect a little on this trip. This has been amazing. Hell's Backbone is quite a diverse route. You start off down in the desert in the canyons, and you wind your way up. We went up to a lake that felt like we were in Colorado in the mountains with green trees, aspens. It was cool, it was crisp, it was clean. And then eventually looking down on the top of a massive canyon system and got to camp with incredible views. And then going down, you do it all over again. You work your way down through the big trees, back into the scrub brush, back into the desert, into the canyon country. And then before you know it, you're here at Boulder, Utah. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys like what you're seeing here with these videos, we would love your support. These guys right here are our Patreon family. They help us go on these trips and make these videos, and you can too. In fact, our lowest level of Patreon, it costs the exact amount of 1 gallon of diesel fuel to help push our van. But it's a little bit more here today, but still, nevertheless, we would love your support. So please consider supporting us on Patreon. You can click the QR code right here or down in the description, and we'd love to have you on board. I think that's it. We'll see you next time somewhere over the horizon.